Welcome back to some more Saya no Uda. So the last time where we left off, although this doesn't really feel like this is a good proper way to pick from where we last left off per se, but from what I remember on part 1, so I looked back on the last video to make sure there's like any sort of audio issues, like whether like this game audio would drown my voice out, and so far, even though I was tweaking around for like few to several minutes, so far it comes out just fine. I think the weird part was like maybe it's because I was wearing the headphones, I couldn't tell whether it's loud enough per se. But I guess like if I'm looking through like OBS, settings, then or whether people would, comment be like, "Oh, the audio's too loud." In which again, so far no one normally there's not much people that would leave a comment, so it's like, okay, I'll just keep it that as is. But so from where I last left off, so far I remember 5 characters so far. Fuminori, there's it's like 4 college students, like Fuminori, the other 3, which is Yo, Koji, and it was, I mean, I probably don't remember their names, but it's like 4 college students, especially Fuminori being the main character, and the other 3, which is like two women and 1 dude, and the doctor, which is Ryoko. And he was done with his medical checkup per se from the last time he visited, because from what I remember, Fuminori got involved in a extreme tragic accident or car accident per se. Pretty fucked up. The guy, whoever drove the fucking tractor, could be the fucking antagonist in this or something. Who knows? Anyway, it looks like someone sprayed the walls with pig guts from ceiling to floor. What color should the walls of the hospital be? White, of course. And to the creatures of rotten flesh shambling around me, I'm sure this hallway looks just as white as it should. I know intellectually that the walls are white. I know that the flesh beasts are really human. I'm the one with the problem, and it's because I've accepted this that I'm able to lead something approaching a normal life. A normal life. I don't know, maybe there's something going on with your mental health. Even if my university's medical department is nowhere near as good as T University's, I'm still a medical student specializing in neurology. I have a basic idea of what has happened to me, though it's hard to believe. This isn't a pathological condition. It's probably some sort of agnosia, unlike anything that has ever been studied before. The flesh beast called Tanbo Ryoko said that other patients had developed neurological disorders after receiving the same treatment I did. So I guess I'm just another failure. It makes me want to laugh in that know-it-all doctor's face. That said, I don't blame the doctors who operated on me. After all, I do owe them my life. I know as well as anyone how low the chance of success was, and that I had no other hope of survival. Oh, I thought the game froze there. I was like, what the fuck's going on? I was unlucky. That's all there is to it. The point is that my condition isn't treatable. Just like someone adapting to a hearing aid or wheelchair, I have no choice but to adapt to this nauseating scenery. Yeah, this is a medical condition that I don't even understand within Fuminori. So I was like, what the fuck is going on with the Fuminori? Because this isn't like a... Because I don't think it's the car accident that makes him, have that sort of condition like that. Of course, it's hard. It wasn't easy to resign myself to this fate. But now there's more than just despair. Even for me, there is a glimmer of hope. I mean, who knows? Like, I guess anyone can have a fucked up mind. Excuse me. Keeping my eyes on my feet, I hurry home. Oh my... I live in a quiet suburban neighborhood, in a house that's much too large for me alone. My parents, even unluckier than I was, died in the accident 3 months ago. I couldn't even go to the funeral for being in intensive care. I had to sell my father's business, but at least that left me with the house and enough money to live on for a while. Of course, I'm sad, but the accident took more from me than my parents. In fact, being on my own has probably saved me. If they were still alive, my parents would never have allowed me to live with some strange girl. Strange girl? As I open the door, a bright voice greets me from the kitchen. The voice is beautiful and clear as a bell, human. Its sweet sound washes the day's cacophony from my memory. Saya. Even the patter of feet coming down the hallway is music to my ears. Nowhere else in the city can I hear such footsteps. Only in this house, with Saya, am I so privileged. So Fuminori is only jaded, so much of a jaded person to everyone else. But to Saya, huh?
ごめんよ。今日は病院に寄っていく日だったから。
そうだっけ?
In her smile, in the inquisitive tilt of her head, is everything that I have lost. Since my accident, this girl is the only person I've met, perhaps the only person in the entire world, who does not trigger my cognitive disorder. True, her skin seems too white, and the color of her eyes and hair is probably different in reality, but even so, her form is undeniably human. And it's not just her appearance and her voice either. As I bend down to take off my shoes, Saya wraps her arms around my neck and pulls me gently into her tiny bosom. Oh boy. Now am I really gonna judge that it's kind of weird? Is this what it is for Fumin? Is this the main character and Saya being like some sort of couple? Because I don't know, man. But it makes me wonder if Fuminori's disorder on her, if Fuminori's disorder, like his current one, where his perspective is like judged on where everything else is like a monstrosity, but Saya is just like in his own eyes a human. So I'm pretty sure like everyone else that doesn't have a similar disorder would visualize, people as normal, but Saya is like, the monstrosity. So I don't know. I mean, again, I haven't read, this is a blind read through, so I'm just making some assumptions. Her skin feels truly human, not cold or slimy, and from her hair wafts a sweet feminine fragrance. In all the world, only Saya is pleasing to my five senses. And what's more, she smiles at me, embraces me. Excuse me. She knows that she is my salvation, and for some reason is happy that I need her. If I had not met Saya, if I had been all alone in this twisted, filth-ridden world, I would no doubt have succumbed to madness. It is no exaggeration to say that Saya alone is keeping me alive. Normally it would be another word for, ending his life, but the wording is succumb to madness. Because the thing is, like, when I see stuff like this and they're keeping me alive part, so I would assume within translation that if Fuminori had not met Saya, he would have ended himself within this, twisted, madness within his mind,
今日は一日どうしてた？
今の模様替えもう半分ぐらい塗り終わったよ。で今はね、文則の晩ご飯作ってるの。昼間テレビで作り方やってたから。
Working on the living room. Oh, so Saya's just renovating the apartment.
そうか、楽しみだな。
もうちょっと時間かかりそうなの。待っててくれる？
いいよ。じゃあ僕は今の続きをやってる。
After I see the humming Saya off to the kitchen, I step into the living room. I realized one day that if the natural colors of the world were sickening, all I had to do was paint over them with colors that seemed pleasant. I went to the hardware store and bought every color of paint I could find. Then Saya and I tried different combinations until we found one that worked. After painting the bedroom from ceiling to floor, I was finally able to get my first good night's sleep since the accident. When we first started on the living room, Saya, unsure what to do with the curtains, just painted carefully around the windows. Without a moment's hesitation, I tore the curtains down and painted over the glass itself. There'll never be anything out there that I'd want to see, and as long as we keep the storm shutters closed, the neighbors probably won't think anything of it.
ご飯できたよ。
Excuse me.
こっちで食べよう。持ってきてくれるか？
Yeah, I'll just eat the dinner while watching TV. Obviously, that's the only entertaining thing to do. As she enters the living room with a tray of food, Saya sniffs the air.
ペンキの匂い、平気？
Now that she mentions it, I suppose the smell of paint thinner must be building up in this closed room. It doesn't really bother me though. There are far worse smells outside.
さやは嫌いかい？
平気。文則が大丈夫ならいい。
Okay, so both don't mind the smell of paint thinner in a way. Sorry about that. I have my coffee and snack with me, so sometimes I either forget to mute the mic or sometimes I don't. So. Oh well. Saya sets the food on the table. Unfortunately, neither its color nor its smell is at all appetizing. Not that food elsewhere is any different.
いただきます。
As has become routine, I steel myself and methodically transport the food into my mouth. The taste is as gut-wrenching as I expected, but it's not Saya's fault. I'm sure she made it exactly like the cooking show said. It's just that my taste buds can't accept it. Did the cognitive disorder also mess up the taste buds too? That's unfortunate.
美味しくない？
She asks. She asks. She asks hesitantly.
まあね。
Well, at least he's being honest. Lying won't make Saya happy. She knows about my condition.
気にしないで。明日はまた別のものを作ってあげるから。
Oh, so she knows about the condition, but she's not gonna like explain her ability as to why.
ごめんな、いつも。せっかく作ってくれたのに。
いいのよ。こうやっていろいろ試していけば、いつかふみのりでも美味しく食べられるメニューが見つかるかもしれないじゃない。
Maybe. In my current state, eating is nothing more than an unwelcome duty. As much as I hate it, I need food to survive. If I stay alive, then perhaps one day, as Saya says, I'll be able to taste something delicious again. I met Saya, didn't I?
さやは食べないの？
私はもう済ましたから。
In all the time we've been together, Saya has never once eaten with me. I don't know why she refuses to do so. It makes me a little sad. Still, I'm not about to push the issue. Not when she's putting up with all the problems I have.
そういえば、今日もう一度病院で君のお父さんのこと聞いてみた。
パパの？
Dr. Ogai Masahiko is Saya's father and her only living relative. Saya has asked me to unravel the mystery of his disappearance.
やっぱり何も教えてくれない。何か隠している雰囲気なんだが。
そう。
I expected Saya to be a little more disappointed. Is finding the missing doctor can actually cure his disorder?
心配じゃないのかい？お父さんのこと。
ううん、そういうわけじゃないの。
She gives a little shake of her head, then smiles at me once again.
ありがとう、ふみのり。私のためにいろいろと。
君はそれ以上のことを僕のためにしてくれるんだ。
I thank her for the meal and set my chopsticks down next to the perfectly clean plate. As wretched as the taste was, thinking of the care that Saya put into it gave me the strength to finish every bite.
じゃあ、お風呂にする？
まあ、また背中流してくれるか？
Oh boy. Ever since Saya moved in, it's been like having my own wife. Oh. Now I see why this visual novel has some mixed reception. But, you know, we've only been this far, right? Okay, let's see. Holy shit. This bedroom is green as hell. Maybe that's why they had to like cover some like disturbing stuff up with like this greenish looking paint. Saya, why are you so good to me? Oh, okay. Maybe that's the reason why I have to censor this for YouTube's sake, huh? Saya's slender hips bounce up and down with an insatiable hunger, each descent thrusting my manhood deep into the embrace of her hot, tight womb.
いいの。すごい。熱い。奥まで。
Who could imagine that her seemingly incorruptible body would ever glisten with the hot sweat of passion, or feast on pleasure with such bottomless lust? Saya, my darling Saya, is this really what you want? Why do you go so far from me? What am I that you can give yourself to me, body and soul?
ふみのり、もっと突き上げて。奥に当たってるの。
Is this merely sympathy? Do you pity me, the exile from society? Is that enough for you to surrender yourself to such mad desire? Are you so wanton?
ふみのり、すごくいい。お願い、もっとめちゃくちゃにして。私もうおかしくなった。
Jeez. Her eyes, as she gazes down upon me, are devoid of twisted or sinful desire. There are only the melting flames of ecstasy. Her beautiful carnal moans and undulating body seem impossible, dreamlike, and I cannot help but wonder if even the pleasure searing my flesh is but an illusion. Oh, great. And now I got to this part. Needing to reassure myself that she's real, I raise my hands to her breasts and seize them like my life depends on it. Saya convulses, screaming like an animal, as I roll her sharp pink nipples through my fingers. She throws her head back and gasps for air.
いい。ふみのり、バラバラになっちゃいそう。
Saya is here. She is with me now. Only in this moment is her existence certain. Only when I am joined with her can I believe.
ふみのり、中にちょうだい。私の内側にふみのりのちょうだい。
I nod and accelerate the pace of my thrusts. Saya's gasps rise in pitch as her mad dance of passion reaches its peak.
行っちゃうの。ふみのり、ねえ、一緒に。
No matter what cruel fate might await me, Saya, there is nothing I fear more than losing you. As Saya climaxes, convulsing and wailing, I surrender to her tight embrace and unleash my boiling seed into her womb.
熱いよ、ふみのり。
Saya collapsed atop me, still smiling, and I wrap my arms around her. The feeling of her soft, sweat-soaked skin and the warmth emanating from her body reassure me that she is still here.
ふみのり、泣いてるの？
I realize that my cheeks are wet with tears.
どうしてなんださや。なぜ僕にここまでしてくれる。
ふみのり。
Yeah, I thought there was going to be a reason as to why Fuminori can recognize Saya as human, and now it just this is like once again it escalates to something this quickly.
わからないんだ。わからないのに僕だけがどんどん君に惹かれていく。君らしちゃ耐えられなくなっていく。
I wrap my arms tighter around her, praying that our bodies will melt together and never again be apart.
教えてくれ。どうすれば君を失わずにいられる。僕は何をすればいい。どうやって君に報いればいい。
こうやって抱いていて。
Saya whispers into my chest.
ふみのりに抱いてもらうの大好き。ずっと一緒にこうしていたい。だから私はふみのりから離れたりしない。
なぜ僕なんだ。
それはね、ふみのりが一人ぼっちだから。
She says softly, gazing up into my eyes.
それはさやも一人ぼっちだったから。
The sorrow in her voice resonates with my own. There is a deep loneliness in her eyes, a loneliness from which now springs boundless affection.
だからさやにもふみのりしかいないの。この世でただ一人だけ私を抱きしめてくれる大好きなふみのり。
Now I know, no matter what horrors this world unleashes upon me, all I'll ever need is Saya. Okay, but aside of this the sex scene going on, I don't even get the understanding as to why, Fuminori is clouded with a messed up perspective. It's only like, Fuminori can only meet with the Saya, and both are treated as like more than a couple. Oh boy. I don't think it's marked as horror, but I'm pretty sure this is something I didn't really expect, to be quite honest. It's more of like being flabbergasted, in all honesty. Yo is determined to talk to him today. Nothing will happen as long as she hesitates. It will only prolong her suffering. The time has come to show courage once again. Yo's fourth period on Thursdays is biology. This is her one chance to see Fuminori. As a required course with many students, the lecture is held in a large hall that can seat well over 200. But since the room is usually only half full, it is rarely difficult for Yo to find the seat she wants. Yo prefers to sit near the center, where it is easiest to hear the professor. Most of the students congregate in this area for the same reason. Fuminori usually sits beside her, although given the ambiguous state of their relationship, she knows better than to take this for granted. Still, she tries to save a seat whenever possible. The classroom isn't crowded today, so Yo is able to set her bag on the seat next to her without inconveniencing anyone. But When the professor arrives at the usual time to start class, there is still no sign of Fuminori. Alright, because Koji has a girlfriend and, the other girl, being one of the three Fuminori's friends, quote unquote, like, yeah, because considering she has like bad luck with love, but even though like she hasn't some sort of love interest for Fuminori, then oh boy, okay, yeah, we're not gonna explain. I'm not gonna commentate any further. After waiting for about 10 minutes, Yo scans the room furtively. Fuminori is there, sitting alone in the far back corner. Did he miss Yo when he came in? No, he couldn't have. And besides, no serious student would willingly sit so far away from the front. Feeling miserable, Yo slides her bag back over to herself. Oh. Fuminori is out the door the moment class ends. Yo barely manages to catch up to him before he disappears down the hallway. Fuminori jerks at the sound of his name. You would think she just screamed at him.
何か
What? He turns to her and asks reluctantly. Now that they are face to face, Yo is painfully aware of how much weight Fuminori has lost. His sunken eyes and protruding cheekbones are a far cry from the features familiar to her. She wonders whether he's under a lot of stress or perhaps not getting enough nutrition. Maybe it's both. He definitely looks more tense than he should, afraid even though of what she can't imagine. His eyes move restlessly from point to point and he refuses to look Yo in the eye. It hurts to see Fuminori this way. What could have changed him so? Today, she reminds herself, rekindling the flame of courage in her heart.
お話があるんです。ちょっといいですか?
Ooh, now we're in the silent courtyard of the sort. The courtyard is empty and silent. No one is willing to sit and chat in the cold November air.
話って何?
Hello, left click. Don't you remember? Yo almost blurts the question, but manages to keep her composure.
咲坂さん、最近ちょっと様子が変です。見てて心配になります。
そうかもね。まあ、あんな目にあった後だから。
He smiles like it's nothing, but even that seems forced. He's even standing precisely one pace farther away from her than he used to.
本当にそれだけなんですか?
君にはそれだけじゃないように見えるのかい?
Yo manages to keep from flinching at the harshness of his tone.
何か我慢してるみたいに見えます。
Well, what if he is? Rather than answer, Fuminori grinds his toe into the dead grass at his feet. Fearing that her determination might flag, Yo lets the words come as they may.
どうしようもないものを無理して壊れそうになるほど頑張って我慢してるみたいに。今の咲坂さんはそう見えます。
そうかい。
Oh, really? Fuminori mutters through clenched teeth, no longer trying to deny it or change the topic. This is an even clearer signal of rejection than his prior evasiveness. But Yo's determination is strong. Today, at least, she won't back down.
友達ってこんな時のためにいると思うんです。
That you need friends. That you need your friends. It's times like these, she implores, trying to convey the sincerity of her feelings for him. That you need your friends.
ご家族のことは本当に残念だったと思います。でも、咲坂さんは一人ぼっちじゃありません。友くんや大見ちゃんや、それに。
Okay, even from the sound of it, sounds a little bit disturbing, if you ask me.
私がいます。
But this isn't Yo. This is like Yo in Fuminori's perspective. Yo can no longer stop the words pouring from her lips. She fears that if she does not unleash her feelings now, they will be lost forever.
一人で背負い込んだりしなくても、私たちで何とかできることだってあると思うんです。たとえ何もできないにしても、話してさえくれれば、あなたが少しでも楽になるかもしれない。私、咲坂さんの力になりたいんです。他のみんなも同じ気持ちだと。
やめてくれ。
Stop it, Fuminori shouts, silencing Yo's entreaty. She promised herself that she wouldn't back down, but Fuminori's expression is terrible enough to shatter her resolve. The look in his eyes is not anger or any other warm-blooded emotion. It is hate, murderously cold hate.
そういえば君には一つ返事しなきゃいけない要件があったね。
He remembers. He remembers, and still he has treated her so coldly. That is all the answer she needs. If his words stab any deeper, she might very well die.
僕は君のことをとりわけ特別に意識したことなんてなかった。君に好意を持たれてもどう接すればいいのか迷ってた。僕が君のことどう思ってるのか、正直な気持ちが自分でもわからなかったから。
咲坂さん。
でもね、今ではもうはっきりと答えが出てる。あれから考える時間だけはたっぷりとあったからね。筑波さん、僕はあんたのことが大嫌いだ。顔も見たくない。
Wow. That's a bit unfortunate right there, isn't it? Like Yo is having trouble with her luck of love, and then considering, with the situation right here, I'm gonna say that this is actually more than a no. That is, don't cry, Yo tells herself, but too late to stop the tears pouring from her eyes.
もう二度と会いたくないっていうのは無理だね。同じ学校に通ってるんだし。
Well, no shit. Like Fuminori, Yo, Koji, and whatever the name. Omi, yeah. Yeah. Koji, Omi, Yo. You're three, supposedly your friends, but, considering with how he's acting, I guess it's never the same, huh?
だからせめて今後は僕に声をかけないでくれないか？目障りなんだよ、つくづく。
Fucking hell, man. This is just a moment where like Fuminori is just being a dick. But I feel like there's like some sort of reason. I feel like there is like a slight reasoning as to why. But it's not like he chose. But I wouldn't really necessarily say he chose the path to be this way, but it feels like something tells me like some sort of twisted mind, you know, influenced him to be this way. How can you be so cruel? Yo whispers in shock and despair. To which Fuminori twists his lips into a malevolent smile. Oh, I just noticed the freaking smile right there. Holy shit. Look at that. He's like, yes. Finally, she's leaving me alone. Oh my god. This is part 2 of the visual novel. You know, including the sex scene with Fuminori and Saya.
君さ、少しは頭を冷やした方が良かったんだよ。どうせ大宮浩二にけしかけられてその気になってただけなんだろ。自分一人でのぼせてる分には勝手だけどさ、他人を巻き込むなって言うんだ。
That's all Yo can take. Even after shedding tears in front of him, she absolutely refuses to let him hear her cry. Any disgrace would be preferable to breaking down here. So she runs, fleeing breathlessly from the courtyard with Fuminori's cold smile at her back. Wow. Omi was the first to catch sight of Yo and Fuminori leaving for the courtyard. Reluctant to interrupt them, but still unwilling to leave them alone, she and Koji ended up watching the whole thing from the shadows. Oh. So, Omi and Koji were watching from afar, huh? Throughout the exchange, Omi was clearly itching to jump out and punch Fuminori in the face. Knowing her temper, Koji kept firm hold of her arm until the end. If he hadn't, she might very well have done it. Fuminori leaves after Yo, his every step seeming to take an act of willpower. Koji sighs heavily into the once more empty courtyard, but the bitter taste in his mouth will not go away.
どうしちまったんだかな、あいつは。
Okay, so good to know there is more to this than just a mere bad mood. Even Koji cannot forgive Fuminori's treatment of Yo. However, the first thing that he feels in confusion is confusion, not anger. Koji has known Fuminori since long before college. Fuminori was never this cruel before. There is no question now that the accident changed him.
ねえ、コージ、このまま放っておくつもり？
Did that accident? I mean, I know that the car accident really was pretty messed up, and it takes quite a long ass time. I feel like there's more than a long ass time, but again, like, it really depends on the scenario. But, you know, judging from this scenario right here, I feel like there's, you know, that it's more of a theory. But Fuminori has this really odd case of what's been going on with him.
放っておきたくないにしたって、俺たちに何ができる？
Yeah, what are you guys gonna do? It's not like talking to him is gonna do much.
覗き見よりマシなことよ。
Omi shouts, her face red with fury.
私、咲坂くんに一言言ってやらなきゃ気が済まないわ。
それで筑波の気が晴れるってもんでもないだろうに。
だったら私のキーだけでも晴らすわよ。
Is her throwing Her throwing hands is gonna solve the problems. I don't know. Yo and Omi are best friends, just like Koji and Fuminori. In fact, it was the relationship between Koji and Omi that brought the other two together. Omi's anger is only natural. I mean, yeah, it's Fuminori's actions that made Omi angry.
私、咲坂くんと二人だけで話してみたいわ。コウジはついてこなくてもいいから。
That seems like a bad idea. I don't know what Fuminori is going to do to you if you try to do something like that.
本気かよ。
Even Koji is like, man, are you really going to risk your life doing that shit?
その代わり、ヨウのことを見ていてあげて。あの子、多分心底傷ついてるから。泣き終わった後で、誰かの優しさが必要になると思う。
なあ、それって俺とお前の役回りが逆じゃないのか？
私みたいな性格だとね、慰め役は無理。励ますつもりで余計に傷跡広げちゃうのがオチなのよ。
I mean, I don't know. I really don't know how friendship works when it comes to like within like the culture of Japan, but I thought it's more of like a girl on girl thing to like try to comfort with each other. But considering how Koji is currently in a relationship with Omi, I don't know. I thought there was like some sort of like boundaries involved when it comes to a relationship, but I guess well, Koji is considering Yo's friend, so I guess that's some sort of exception to this.
なるほど。納得いった。
Well, okay.
あ、嫌な言い方。
じゃあまあ、そっちはほどほどにしとけよな。
Ending the conversation before Omi's mood gets any worse, Koji heads off to find Yo. Oh man. Omi's gonna give him a piece of his mind. We're back to this again. We're back to Silent Hill 4 all over again. The nightmarish world. I feel awful, miserable, but also refreshed. I've finally crossed the line. I knew it would come crashing down like this sooner or later. Having become unable to feel anything but disgust for other people, there was no way I could hope to maintain the relationships I had before the accident. Today's incident will definitely get back to Koji and Omi, and everyone will be convinced I've had a major change of character. Honestly, I don't care anymore. At least I probably won't be committed for this. I just need to avoid acting any stranger than I already have. If this puts a rift between me and the others, good. The thought of all the stress I'll avoid brings a smile to my lips. I'm fed up with them sticking their noses into my life. It's like they don't care that they make my gut turn just by being near me. I've been terrified of them until now, but today I struck fear into one of them. In that sense, it's something of a relief, but I'm not entirely without remorse for what happened. The person I just demolished with the verbal equivalent of a nuclear bomb used to be my friend Yo. Even if my senses don't believe it, my mind accepts the theory. I don't have any particular grudge against Yo herself, and I didn't want to hurt her. In retrospect, perhaps I should have just ignored her outright. Yo was an attractive girl. I certainly didn't think badly of her. To be honest though, I was annoyed when Koji and Omi tried to stick us together. It felt like they were using us as entertainment, and Yo seemed totally oblivious to the fact that she was dancing to their tune. Her cluelessness was irritating. Still, I knew that none of them meant any harm. Back then, I didn't have any reason to hurt others just to get my way. If having a casual relationship with Yo would keep our circle of friends together, I was willing to make that compromise. Okay, but this whole, like, using the entertainment part, well, I'm pretty sure there are both sides to the story, that is. Now, however, there is no room in my heart for such forbearance. If merely talking to someone is an ordeal, then how can I be expected to show them kindness? These ruminations have left me exhausted. I want to return to Saya as soon as possible, but thinking about the packed trains and crowded downtown streets between here and home saps my spirit. Catching sight of a nearby bench, I sit down and close my eyes to the horrors of the world. I can't do anything about the stink or the noise, but at least I can calm my nerves enough to rest. Oh. So he's just gonna rest on this one, huh? Alright. So I've approached the over the 50-minute mark. I think this is a good time to end it from here. I guess there's a button to save, right? Yeah, it's D. Alright, so we're gonna save around here. Oh. So, yeah, these are saved around. So that's 2 parts done so far. Yeah, so what have I learned so far? Fuminori and Saya in a true relationship together, and it seems like, you know, Fuminori and Yo are there was a hostile rift between each other. I feel like, you know, although I feel like Fuminori is more influenced within the matter of him behaving this way than just, you know, outside of the, you know, the messed up perspective itself. But again, like, I'm already like 2 hours into reading, and this feels this feels a little bit confusing as to why Fuminori is acting like that. And I'm pretty sure his friends, you know, are, you know, concerned in a way. But yeah, I think that'll be it for this sort of madness for now. So, with that being said, like, comment, and subscribe, and stay tuned for more when I get the chance. Have a good one.